them, where are you now?
So right now I'm seeing this lady, and she is, I think, a lot more like aligned with like the qualities that I want. She's very mature. She's very direct as well, so I don't have to like play guessing games. Yeah, and those really play back into like, I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but
It's okay.
the qualities that Ruby had me identify that were my top qualities.
Welcome. We have a really cool story for you today, and he's live right next to me because if you guys don't know, I actually do work with some in-person clients, especially if you're in the SoCal area. So here's Jefferson, and he's here willing to share his story with you, and I'm so excited for him to share it. So let's get this started. Jefferson, if you can introduce yourself, tell him who you are, where you're located, which I kind of just gave a hint, and what got you seeking me? Like, where were you in your dating life when you basically seeked for my help?
Right. Hey, so hi everyone, I'm Jefferson. I'm based in San Diego, California. And the main reason why I sought out Ruby was because I was meeting a lot of girls, but I wasn't finding the ones I really liked or I was really attracted to. And the whole thing around with that was I felt like I was wasting my time because I was going out on a lot of coffee dates, a lot of dinner dates, and they were just all one date and done, pretty much.
Okay, so to sum it up, he had the issue of it wasn't that he wasn't given the chance, it was more of getting dates, but not really clear on either the kind of woman you should be dating and then also where she's at and where to focus basically his time and energy, right?
Right.
Cool.
Good summary.
And now, just a quick summary for them, where are you now?
So right now I'm seeing this lady, and she is, I think, a lot more like aligned with like the qualities that I want. She's very mature. She's very direct as well, so I don't have to like play guessing games. Yeah, and those really play back into like, I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but
It's okay.
the qualities that Ruby had me identify that were my top qualities.
And actually, going off of that, one thing I did want to ask you was what was the most helpful, like either session or kind of activity? You don't have to go through the activity, but what was that was the most helpful for you to kind of shift your focus and get clear?
Right. I definitely think it was identifying the top qualities I'm looking for in a partner. Because a lot of people have these giant lists, right? They have like lists of 30 qualities, but how many of those are really important to you, right? Probably only like 5 and maybe 10 at the max.
Did you have a list when coming into? I think you did.
I did,
You started
yeah.
out. Yeah.
I had a huge list.
So it's okay sometimes to have that list already, but yeah, we worked through it together where we figured, okay, we have to narrow this down and figuring out what's really, really important for you,
Right.
So what was the biggest thing you either overcame or biggest thing that you learned? Minus, figuring out who you want, but
Right.
anything else in regards to that?
I think sort of like complementing figuring out who you want, right, is that it's okay not to go on like every date you get, right? Like just because you two like are initially attracted to each other doesn't mean that like you have to take the date, right? Like maybe like through texting conversation you're like, oh, I don't think she's like on the same like wavelength as I am, right? And that's a good reason to not take the date, I think. Yeah. You really want to find someone that's like on the same wavelength, right? Has the right qualities, right? You're looking for. And then from there, it's a go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So along with that is you'd have to have a little sense of self or confidence. Coming into this, did you feel that you already had that confidence and knew what made you attracted and attracted the right person? Or was that something that you had to also kind of learn for yourself?
I think I had the sense of like that, like to some girls, like I was attractive and I could get those dates. But at the same time, it was still like going back to that obstacle, right? Like you don't have to take every date, right? Like not taking every date doesn't mean anything towards yourself, right? Yeah.
Okay. So you knew you were attractive, but did you know what actually makes you, you know what I mean? It's like I was saying, like
right.
with confidence and attraction, having even that sense where it's like, okay, it's okay not to take every date.
Right.
You have to have almost like a sense of self to be like, I'm a pretty cool guy. Did you already have that coming in? Or
I think I had like a sense of it, but I know what specific qualities
okay, yeah.
made me attractive. Yeah.
And I bring this up because I believe even in our first couple of sessions, like he has a good sense of self. I think you know who you are. It was more about kind of laying it out and then aligning who he wanted with who he is.
Right.
Right. And then kind of showcasing those traits more than just whatever traits you had.
Right, yeah.
So, like, I think we even went through, let's say, we did an online profile makeover and all of that too.
We did.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. It's knowing, well, what parts of you probably attract that person. So, did you notice a change in your online dating journey?
Yeah, I did. So after I did like some of the profile pictures, like rearrangement you had mentioned, and sort of like highlighted more of both what I was looking for in a partner in my profile, as well as like sort of playing up my strengths. I did notice a different in matches. Just like the matches were more aligned, right, with what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more quality.
Exactly.
Was there a lot?
A lot?
It's okay to say no because
right.
Because it's
I think a lot like relatively to how many matches I was getting. Like if like for example if I was getting 5 matches, right, and then 4 of them would be like they would have the traits I'm looking for, whereas like 5 matches before and it was maybe only like 1 or 2, right?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I was trying to allude to. So just like you were saying that, you know, people shouldn't need to say yes to every date. It's the same thing with matches. Just because you're having a lot, like it's not about the numbers. It really is about the quality. And I remember telling him even in the very beginning, I said, I'd rather you go on less dates, but they're quality. Like going on dates every week is probably not very fun if it's a waste of your time. But if it's less dates, less matches, but it seems like people that you want, then that's what matters.
Right.
Cool. So obstacles, online profiles. Now he is going out on dates and is actually seeing someone of quality. So that's great success. Right. A topic I wanted to bring up pretty quickly is this can be a very still taboo for a lot of people.
Right.
Like getting a dating coach, seeking help in this. So what do you have to tell to them for those that are wondering, like, is this a weird thing? Like, how did you kind of overcome that for yourself if you had that issue? Or if not, what would you say to them to kind of help?
Yeah, no, I definitely had that issue up front. I was like going back and forth, like, oh, what would people think of me if I had a dating coach, right? And I like came to the realization that it doesn't really matter what other people think of me. It's how fed up or how frustrated you are with like where you are in your dating life, right? And if you're frustrated enough, right, you're gonna like try and make something different happen, right? So if that means like going to Ruby, right, for a dating coach, like dating advice, then that's what you have to do. Yeah.
So you almost recognize that it's almost like any other area in your life. Like if you want something different to happen, then you just have to take that step, dating coach or not. It seems like you took away that like dating or that kind of stigma out of it.
Exactly.
Very cool. Now going through the process yourself, what do you think someone needs to be successful in this and getting to whatever results they want?
Right. I definitely think you need to put in like 100% basically. Like I don't want to say like you need to I want to say like, yeah, a lot of people say like you put in as much as you get out, right? Or you get out as much as you put in, right? But I think like you have to fully commit to the process because otherwise there's no shortcuts and there's no like halfway, right? It's all or nothing really.
Awesome. Yeah. And I always say that to people too. I was like, well, it is that quote, like you get what you put in.
Right.
And it really is that because he might as well just like not listen to me, just took it in, and I don't think he'd be where he is now. So lastly, there are plenty of people that are probably watching this, and they usually do because they're kind of on the edge of deciding whether to kind of join one of my programs or work with me, just directly to them, what would you have to say if they're on edge and wondering?
Right. I think for me, well, at least for me personally, Ruby really gets me. Like, we're on the same wavelength, right? Like, she knows, like, what, like, from what I'm telling her, she knows, like, sort of what, like, qualities I'm looking for, and, like, how I can put myself in the best position to get there. And, like, the second thing I think makes Ruby really attractive, right, as a coach, is that she has a way to really, like, take a lot of my verbal vomit and, like, put it together in, like, a really concise fashion, right? And, like, when you repeat it back to me, right, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes so much more sense. Yeah.
That is true. I don't worry, you guys. I will control your thoughts and every overthinking, just put it into a simple term. And even just before, as we were talking about updates, and he was telling me about one thing, and I was like, oh, well, why'd you ask that? He's like, oh, just to hear it. Like, it's like, just to hear it back, just to validate. And sometimes that's all you need. But thank you so much. I was actually going to say, lastly, describe kind of my coaching style, but I think that answered it.
Yeah,
right? Is there any other way how to describe my coaching style?
Not sure. Awesome.
I feel like a lot of it too, if you haven't noticed from my videos, I'm pretty direct and straightforward as well, but kind, but direct.
Yeah.
And I know he's seen that as well. Just like I was saying with the list, he had a lot, and I didn't let him have it, did I?
Not at all.
I was like, no, we gotta narrow it down. So just being open to to taking the feedback, and then it's true, we're on the same wavelength, and being able to have these discussions. So I'm really glad that you shared your story today. Thank you so much. And any last words?
I don't think so.
That's fine. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.